500,000 private security officers will be deployed to complement the country's 150,000 SAPS members. Security capacity on both land and air will also be strengthened.
Is it possible that you guys paint the full picture? Please, we're not saying paint us as angels. We don't care what you call us. But paint the full picture. Go and tell those stories of South Africans who have been run out of the tuck shop business because Pakistanis and Somalians have told them they can't open tuck shops in their own country.
We are here to support the people of Ukompo and ensuring that there is no violence on the 30th. We are coming to make sure to tell them that whatever we are doing, we can do it peacefully. We have done it, we have proven it, and people are happy and people are living.
We have reflected on those events and extensively, and we have learned valuable lessons.
Israel.
I mean, you know.
Guys, I don't even know anyone from Israel. The only time I ever heard about Israel was in the Bible.
A quick message to Indian Muslim business people. They're feeling jittery, they're nervous of what might happen on the 30th. Are you willing to also engage with the Muslim community?
Hi everyone, Lillian here. If you are new here, if you're an OG, thank you for returning, and I apologize for being away for some days. Please don't forget to like, feel free to share, subscribe, and of course I would love to read from you in the comment section of this video. Today is the 26th of June, which means we have 4 more days to go till the 30th of June that most South Africans have set aside to protest against undocumented immigrants in South Africa. And in this video you'll be seeing a lot of Jucenta. So if you are not a fan of this African beauty, this African brave warrior, please click out, come back in another video. But if you are a fan of Jucenta, don't forget to leave us some nice encouraging words in the comment section of this video. She might just be watching my videos. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, let's get into the video.
Where are you getting your money from? Israel.
I mean, you know.
Guys, I don't even know anyone from Israel. The only time I ever heard about Israel was in the Bible. And now I'm hearing that I'm funded by Israel. You know, the amount of time people spend on conspiracy theories really worries me. So you guys telling me that black people cannot stand up for anything unless there's money involved?
Sure.
Are we not smart enough? Are we not entitled enough? Do our brains not function unless there's money involved?
Sure.
I find this so very offensive, because if this movement had a lot of white faces here, everyone would be like, oh, let's hear what you have to say. Oh my gosh, why do we have the issue of illegal immigrants? It's such a fundamental right for people to be protected in their country. But because it's black people, we find the most offensive things to say to us. It's discussing this agenda of us as black people not being able to stand up for ourselves in our communities because we're black. And everything we must do must have money involved. Yes, we know there are people who have bad motives and bad intentions for doing something. But have you ever seen us going to Israel and getting money? Why would you run a story that you don't have proof of? Have you ever asked us for our bank statements and we said no? If you've ever asked us for bank statements and we said no, rightfully write that and say you have issues of who's giving us money. We have bank statements, guys, where people donate. If you want to see them today, I can give them to you. Don't keep making us airheads in our heads, because now these people, you don't even understand how very detrimental to our lives this thing of aligning us with certain people is. Because you say we are aligned with Israel. What do you think the Palestinians see us as?
Exactly.
Why do we care if Palestinians and Israelites are in South Africa? Because that's the exact problem that we're talking about.
Exactly.
What kind of African country has people from other religions fighting religious wars in that country? We are an African country. Why must our African beliefs and values be pushed aside so that we can get ourselves involved in things that have nothing to do with us? Whether you're Muslim or whether you're a Jew, it doesn't matter to us. We just want you to be in the country illegally. Finish.
Simple.
And asking us where we get our money from if you're not going to contribute a cent to us is not helping us. Give us 600 million as well. Then ask us what we're doing with the money. Because we're not a government entity here. For existence. everything that we have to do here requires us to put in our own money. And if South Africans are donating to us, why is it a problem? Because we can't do anything for ourselves.
Yeah.
No, guys, I really find this question highly offensive.
A quick message to Indian Muslim business people. They're feeling jittery. They're nervous of what might happen on the 30th. Are you willing to also engage with the Muslim community?
Look, we're engaging with all communities. We've engaged with traditional leaders. We've engaged with some community members who are Muslim, especially in the Sherwood area, who did call us to kind of hear what we were about. And we do open ourselves up to that, because, I mean, we're not creating a wall where we just want to do nonsense and then people mustn't ask us. No, that's not who we are. We welcome engagement, and we're very happy to engage the Muslim community. But for us, we don't want any businesses to be affected longer than they should. We want the legal businesses to continue working, to continue servicing South Africans, and those that are hiring South Africans to continue to do so. The only issue we have is the hiring of illegal immigrants and businesses that are unregistered, that are selling counterfeit goods, expired goods, etc., etc. So I think whatever that we're talking about is something that is stipulated in the law. I think we do believe that all businesses must be in compliance. It can't be a march and march thing where we're the ones that are looked at to abide by the laws and everyone else gets to do what they want. But business is very good for the country. We encourage business people. We know that there's a lot of people who benefit from the Muslim community and their businesses, but we are encouraging them as well to stick by what is right, do what the law says, respect the laws of the country, and what the minimum wage says or the labor law says is what you're supposed to be doing. It's not a march and march thing, it's a country thing, it's the laws of the country. So we are encouraging that, but engagement is always open.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is it possible that you guys paint the full picture? Please, we're not saying paint us as angels. We don't care what you call us. But paint the full picture. Go and tell those stories of South Africans who have been run out of the tuck shop business because Pakistanis and Somalians have told them they can't open tuck shops in their own country. Tell those stories of South African children who can't find spaces in schools. Tell those stories of women who are South African giving birth on the floor because they don't have space. Because Zimbabwe has terrible health care, and therefore everyone who wants to give birth comes to South Africa.
Yeah.
We want you guys to tell the full story. Don't tell a one-sided story. You are the ones that are going to cause a fight when there's no fight. Because someone who's in the country illegally shouldn't even be protected. They must know, I'm in the country illegally, therefore I must go. Why is it so painful to tell someone who's in the country illegally they must go? Why are NPOs getting worked up and NGOs getting worked up? Daily Maverick every day and Ground Up have articles every day about xenophobia in the country. Ask them to tell us about those children who are dying in spaza shops, not a single article. So it's us who must die.
Yeah.
It's fine when it's our children that are dying, it's okay. No media finds that problematic. You guys don't think it's a problem when we're watching Sizokuthola every Sunday and Nigerians are caught selling drugs every Sunday? That's not a story, it's not newsworthy. The only newsworthy thing is when a foreigner gets scratched. Oh, they scratched the foreigner. First time government can actually see that there's real people behind cell phones, because we have been complaining about this for years. And you're asking what happens if things go wrong. And I'm listening, I've been listening to the language all this time. Everyone, are you going to take responsibility? Are you going to take responsibility? Can I ask, whose responsibility is it to protect the country? Is it us? It's definitely not our responsibility. You can't place that on us. If the government is going to be spending 600 million rand, then they must work for it.
Yeah.
They must show us that they can be able to protect the country. We can't be crying every day over our borders being porous and them failing to protect us as the citizens. And when we decide we want to stand up against them, suddenly everyone has a voice about how we must take responsibility. Who takes responsibility for all those children who are out on the streets smoking drugs? Who takes responsibility for all those things coming in our borders? Who takes responsibility for all the human trafficking that's happening in this country? If anyone wants to point a finger at someone who must take responsibility, start with those who allowed illegal immigration in the first place.
Yep.
Those are the ones who must take responsibility for anything that happens on the 30th. Don't point the finger on us. We've done our due diligence. We've put our head on the block here. And everyone in the world is looking at us, calling us hateful things, swearing at us, and the government is acting as if this issue of illegal immigration is our problem. It's not our problem that there's illegal immigrants in the country. We didn't invite anyone. We certainly didn't want to feel unsafe in our own country. We certainly never envisioned there'd be a time where in our hospitals we don't have spaces.
There's no bed.
And children in schools don't have spaces. So if there's anyone that must shoulder any blame for the 30th, it's the government.
In July 2021, over 350 people were killed when protests quickly descended into mass looting and civil unrest. Now it's hoped that joint efforts by law enforcement and the private security sector will help prevent a similar tragedy.
We are now only days away from the planned demonstrations of 30 June, and it is important that all security stakeholders coordinate, communicate and prepare together. The lessons of July 2021 remain fresh in our minds. The events of July 2021 exposed several challenges, including gaps in coordination, shortcomings in communication, limitation in early warning systems, and insufficient collaboration between various stakeholders responsible for safety and security. We have reflected on those events extensively, and we have learned valuable lessons. One of the most important lessons is that no single organization can effectively deal with threats of this magnitude alone. Success requires coordination, planning, information sharing, and unity.
500,000 private security officers will be deployed to complement the country's 150,000 SAPS members. Security capacity on both land and air will also be strengthened.
We are quite confident that the industry is prepared to become a force multiplier. We have learned from what had happened in 2021. We have now identified proactively. In the past, we have said that if we had the benefit of hindsight, now we have the benefit of planning. A lot of planning has been done.
Let's get into behind the scene of what is happening in South Africa ahead of June 30th. And here are some of the things that are happening.
We've had one person already arrested who's wanted for a minor, and we cannot allow those people to escape justice by leaving the country. So that work is very important. The work of Home Affairs is critical because the verification is done in terms of whether this person was in South Africa illegally, and if they were, the law requires us to declare them undesirable for a period of 5 years so that they can't come back. Then the work of our Malawian colleagues is critical because they have to issue these group passport documents. Almost all of the people here don't have passports. So for them to even just leave the country, they need to be issued, and we've just engaged with the Malawian High Commission to say, can we assist? Can we provide some more hands? Can we provide some more tools to make sure that we speed up that process as well? So I think from a logistical point of view, we're starting to hit our stride on a very difficult operation.
From communities around in terms of hosting these people here from Sherwood and other places. But our special request is to say, can the community bear with us so that we'll process these people and make sure that they go to their countries. We did put some services here like water and toilet and other services to make sure that the site is safe, everyone is being processed, all the process that need to be taken on.
By now, I bet a lot of people, especially people from my part of the continent, would be surprised that Jacinta is still standing against all odds. Despite the propaganda, she's been tagged so many things. She's been threatened. She's been, the media attacks. This lady is still standing and standing strong. And every day she comes out here, she makes some brilliant points. This is a woman that is healthy holistically. If Jacinta do not inspire you, then I don't know who else would. This is a woman that is not on DRUG. This is a woman that do not need to depend on therapists to function. This is a woman that knows what she's fighting for. And maybe now you know why I admire her a lot. I admire this lady a lot. This is a selfless woman. This is an activist. And at this point, I don't know if South Africans are taking notes that this lady could be your first female president, a woman that feels the pain of a common person in her country. In as much as I do not encourage people like this going into politics because the regular people need them, I also feel like it's not a bad thing to give people like this a try. And I would like to know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that Jacinta is better off as an activist, or she should go into politics? Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in my next one. Bye.